Can't find this thing. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Where am I? This guy, idiot, Norman. Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. I'm laughing because David Youngblood said, put your mute button on. We can hear you. This morning, we're going to discuss what TLC member Chili spoke of as she remembered being told that Black artists don't really sell well on magazine covers. How about that? And that was when TLC was the hottest group around. Well, how much has changed since? Well, we will discuss. Also, as we told you before, Tyler Perry is getting closer to purchasing BET and VH1, and he says he expects to acquire the networks really soon. And what will a BET and a VH1 under Tyler Perry look like? And remember when MTV, VH1's cousin, would not play Black artists? Well, we're going to talk about all of that. Also, in San Francisco, how about this? Those who use Cash App, the founder of Cash App, Bob Lee, was stabbed to death on the streets of San Francisco. We'll have some details on that. And the bots are coming for all of our livelihoods. ChatGPT said it expects to cost nearly 5 million people their jobs because of advancements in artificial intelligence. Of course, the Black unemployment rate remains high, and we suspect that robots and machines will continue to at least prevent that rate from dipping. All of that this morning with Totally Randy. Good morning. Totally Randy would show up.
Good morning. Happy
Hey.
Friday, Junior. My sister hates when I say that, by the way. She literally hates that. She's like, what is a Friday, Junior?
Well, I tell you what, Power 96 is loaded for bear for some reason. He says, I got time today. And when Power 96 got time, we in for a ride. So let's
I'm on the same wavelength. Power 96, I'm with you. I have time today, too. I have time today.
I
I
ain't got
do.
time for it. I'm telling y'all right now. So y'all better control these emotions that y'all got here this morning. And David telling me to hush, before the show even starts. I
Yep.
mean, come on. What's going on? I don't
They
know what
said, listen, do not have your phone off mute.
y'all not gonna get invited to the barbecue anymore. That's what's gonna happen here. Not only
No
y'all just get
cookout for
the
you.
y'all gonna get the tinfoil plates, the leftovers, and sent on your way. That's what's gonna happen.
No
I'm not
potato
playing.
salad. It's done. It's gone
Nah,
already.
no. I'll get. Wait, I think who was it? David or I think David talks about the what white folks put in their potato salad. We'll give them the
Raisins.
white folks potato salad, the raisins. That's what we'll do.
Or you know what I thought of when you said not invited to the cookout. I was thinking just invite them. You know how when people used to have weddings, you can't come to the reception to eat the food, but you can come for cake and ice cream. You got to do that.
You ain't getting none of my cake. Anyway. Listen, I found this to be interesting. When she was receiving an award yesterday, TLC's
Right.
Chili made some interesting comments. The group, of course, soared to unthinkable heights with the success of timeless hits like "Stop Chasing Those Waterfalls," "Stick to Those Rivers and Lakes You Used to," and "No Scrubs," leading the trio to sell more than 85 million records worldwide as the best selling girl group in America. But the climb to the top came with its own set of obstacles. During her acceptance speech for TLC's Legacy Award, Chili got emotional and she recalled some of the group's hardest moments and their biggest triumphs as women of color in the music industry. She said, "When you are a woman of color, it's real hard. It's a huge struggle." She told the audience that, listen, they told us they wouldn't put us on covers because we don't covers of magazines because we don't sell. She said that Rolling Stone, it was like a dream of hers to get on the cover of Rolling Stone. Um, that's still is that let me ask the question. Is that still a problem today as it was back then? I mean, TLC, there was no one bigger than TLC at the time too.
Right. So that's the like I don't work for the industry, so I can't say yes for a fact that's still a problem. But one thing that I do, and I have many friends who work in the industry, I won't shout you guys out, but it's not
No,
only
I do.
that.
Shout them out.
Right.
Call them out.
Right. It's not only that, black artists don't really sell well on magazine covers. I totally believe that she was told that. I totally believe that was taking place, and a little bit, I think we're starting to see a shift. But I thought as soon as she said that, I thought about, them saying hip hop songs and things of that sort don't sell when it comes to commercials either. So some people actually don't push their artists to make certain music, or just because of the stigma around it sounds too black, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, is that if that's is still going on in the industry, then of course you have black artists don't really sell well. Well, the black music don't sell well on commercial. Like, it's just wake me up, please.
Well, I think this is more so now this goes to the music journalism side, the media side of it, and her point was that you know Rolling Stone and perhaps others had this thing at least. Rolling
Yeah,
Stone,
because yeah, Meg Thee
Rolling Stone.
Stallion's been on Rolling Stone. So, like I said, I think we're starting to see a shift. But that shift is coming from popularity. It's not coming from, is this, this is the hottest group. Like, yeah, at that time when they were the hottest group, if she was told that, which I totally believe that's completely asinine. And yes, we understand that that was a problem. But again, we know that it's been a problem in the industry, period. Like, black women, period, has been a problem, right? Where that whole protect black women comes from, right? So I think, like I said, I think we're starting to see a shift. But there's a lot more that could be done. What do you think, Stace?
Well, I also like what she said about they still never stop believing in themselves, and the fact that they were able to rise above all of the racism that they faced, and
Right.
among other things, we know that TLC faced a lot of internal situations with management, with what's her name, Babyface's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Um, we know that they had generated all of this income, all of this money, but their side of it was, a couple of hamburgers and a ticket to the next show. I
Right, a
mean,
Rav 4. I always think about the Kanye line. What you think I rap for, to push a Rav 4. That's the car that they received. And we think about, like the old, the Cadillac records, right? The old artists then. Oh, you do this great music, it's legendary, but we're gonna reward you with the Cadillac. Some of them couldn't
mhm.
even feed their own families. So we've been knowing that this was a problem. It's just that like I said, it's starting to shift because there's been a lot of black artists on Rolling Stone, but that shift it has been slow.
Yeah, and Chili went on to highlight their manager, Bill Diggins' loyalty, particularly after the death of Left Eye in 2002, when the group was
Mhm.
overwhelmed by their grief and financial burdens. And she she said people talked about Left Eye burning down Andre's house, and they said people don't know the real story there either. That was an accident. Um, you know what? TLC the, and they let me say this too first though they also addressed Chile also addressed the fact that this idea of them replacing Left Eye, she said that has never and will never happen. That was never a thought. You can't replace Left Eye, at least
Right. There's no way
not in
you
my
can't.
book.
Right. I agree. You can't replace Left Eye. She was.
The
That's one of my
engine.
favorite stories. By the way, is with her and Andre because I could see it being an accident because he went and got her. That's why. I mean, obviously that's why he went and got her out of jail. I have my
Listen,
own theory of why he went and
I
got her out of jail.
I told Left Eye then myself, I told her, I said, listen, girl, you can burn my house down. We'll be okay. She said, she said, you got all kinds of issues. That's what she
And
said.
this is why I like being on your show, Stacey. Because see, I never knew, okay,
Oh
that you
gosh.
got a chance to speak to legendary Left Eye. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
we were
amazing.
in was I want to say Sherman Oaks, California, and we were just hanging out, and I was teasing with her about it, and I said, girl, anytime you want, burn my house down.
I know that's right.
It was a way of it was a way of bringing that up with the greatest of levity as possible.
Right. Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
they were Destiny's Child before Destiny's
They
Child.
were.
They were the group, and you could not turn the radio on without hearing TLC. You couldn't go anywhere without seeing something that had something to do with uh Chili, Left Eye, and T-Boz. It was impossible.
Was that Drew Sidora that played T-Boz? I know Greer just put the shout out to producer Greer. I know she just put the picture up, but I don't remember Drew Sidora playing T-Boz, but it looked like Drew Sidora.
I don't know who Drew Sidora
Left Eye
is.
was played by Lil Mama, which by the way, oh my goodness, I have a crazy Lil Mama story. But we won't tell it here. But a crazy Lil Mama story.
You can't do that to our folks. Power 96, let her know. Let her know. He's
Okay, well, really quick, it was real quick. We were come. It was last year, around this time last year. My sister and I were in Atlanta for some friends were doing something, and we were in Atlanta, and we were coming out of H&M randomly, and Left Eye, not Left Eye, Lil Mama, who played Left Eye, right?
say
She stopped my
if you saw
sister.
Left Eye last year, let's talk.
Right, I know, right? What dream was I having? No, like we saw her coming out of H&M, and she stopped my sister, and my sister had her cane. She was still on her cane, and she just, she stopped us and got our story, gave us her story, and she said, I want to show you something." And on my finger, I had a yang because I'm all my sister and I are yin and yang, and she takes my fingernail and puts it to her ring, and she talks about that yin yang ring, and it was a crazy experience that even my sister was like, wow, this was a really crazy experience. But really 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 genuine person, Lil Mama, really like her.
Well, Power 96 says, accident or not, Left Eye was straight gangster. Salute to her and may she rest in
She
power.
was. I'll be the one to blame as the flames keep rising to the top. Yeah.
It is not Friday.
It's Friday Junior. We're turning up just a little bit. Okay, I'm helping
Right.
you turn up.
Well, as the sale of BT Media Group turns into the latest season of Succession, one of the uh, interested parties is very publicly staking his claim. In an interview yesterday, filmmaker Tyler Perry said it's abundantly clear that he will acquire the company that includes BET and VH1. He says, quote, rumor? No, it's not a rumor. I've been there for 4 years now and have tremendous success. I wasn't expecting this to happen. So, yes, if that is possible, I'm very, very interested in taking as much of it as I can. He noted that Byron Allen and Diddy Combs have also revealed their interest in purchasing BET. But he said he is the one. He said that he's excited to see Diddy and Byron Allen at the negotiation table, because he said when Bob Johnson originally sold BET in 2000, there wasn't one black person who could buy it. So now to see all these black people, men and women, who are able to be in a position to buy it, he said that really makes him excited. And so, what would a BET under Tyler Perry look like? Right now BET is Tyler Perry. It's
Right.
Tyler. It's all Tyler Perry all the time.
Right. I mean, he literally have a lot of his programming on BET. I would love, love, love to see Tyler Perry, Diddy. I really don't care which one, but I would love to see it black owned. As long as they have a team. You know, one of the biggest things I had with Tyler Perry, it wasn't his wigs, because I know a lot of people are gonna talk about that. You let me know if anybody mentioned his wigs, because the first person who mentioned the wigs get a free lunch on me. Because listen, Tyler was really wrong for the wigs he had on his show. But no, I would love to see it black owned, as long as they have a team where the programming looks right,
Mm.
right? Like, I don't care who owns it, but if the programming looks right, I would love to see that. You know, we have an opportunity with BT to actually reprogram, restructure how we, the influence we have that we put out into society. Like, there's an opportunity there. So whoever buys it, I just hope that they have a team to do that the right way.
Well, again, Power 96 says Tyler Perry has to bring back HBCU football to BET on Saturday nights. I think a lot of people are on board with that. That's for
Agreed.
sure. My question, though, on the other side of it is VH1. We know MTV and VH1 don't necessarily play music videos anymore.
Right.
So I wonder what the plan for VH1 is once Tyler Perry finishes acquisition of these networks. What are you looking at for VH1?
For VH1, I mean, again, Slate is there to create some really amazing programs. I would like to see a return of music videos. I think that's the reason why we're getting lackluster music videos. Like, I would love for people to put that creativity back into music videos. Yes, it was mind blowing as a child to see, oh, the first Hype Williams video. Like, of course, but there are talented people out there, and I think that's the problem. I think we gatekeep too much. It's so many talented people out in the world. Go and grab some of these new people with new ideas and new thoughts. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel by not reinvent the wheel. That's the problem. They're not reinventing the wheel. Stop trying to just tweak the wheel by saying, hey, let's take all the original programming we used to have and just repurpose it. No, like, there are fresh creative ideas out here. Go and grab some of those people.
Well, it certainly would be enough programming for music videos. It's just interesting, as we said at the top of the show, is that, and this is, I'm glad Power 96 said this, because I wanted to say that too. Hopefully they'll stop those reality shows. He says those daggone reality shows.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, you always, when you think of music video and VH1, when you think of VH1, you think of MTV, of course, and
Right.
MTV for so long, until Michael Jackson refused to play black music, and now this thing pretty much comes full circle, right? Because
Yeah.
and Monique Daniels says, "Where are the Ralph McDaniels and the Vid Kid?" We actually had Ralph McDaniels on the program about a year or so ago. DJ Ralph McDaniels, video music box. That was our thing back in the day. But
I want to see interviews too. I want to see interviews. So now with the street, so with with VH1, you can have your programming on the network, right? But with streaming now, like there's so many creative ways to do things. Which, by the way, VH1, if you want to bring me in as a strategy, you could do that, right? Because, like, think about it. You
Tyler
know,
Perry's not watching. Don't worry.
Tyler Perry is, but if Tyler Perry is watching, I didn't, don't get mad about the wigs. Everybody said, bring me on your team. But anyway, uh, there's so many opportunities when it comes to streaming. Like, I would love to see a program almost like a RL, but not in the same way. So you do have that audience that's in studio, right?
Mhm.
And it's a streaming program that happens, maybe Monday through Friday at a certain particular time, where the up and coming artists, how they used to break artists, that's another thing that's not happening. They don't break artists. They don't talk. I really want the people to put the work back into the artistry, put the art back into the music, and put the art back into the journalism. Like, have shows where you're streaming, you have videos in between the panel talking about music. I mean, it should have been programming starting January 1st about the 50th year of hip hop. There should have been programming, like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
again,
I think David Youngblood hits the nail on the head here. He says, as long, and this is so crucial, he says, as long as they portray Black in its fullness, then I'm okay. But I need programming that's truly reflective of our full experiences, not afraid to tackle real history while
right,
also doing comedy, entertainment, science, business shows for babies and children, and love stories. Uh,
right,
you like the love stories, David? Um, but he's 1000% on point right there.
right,
Because of the climate, because of what has been done in this United States about denying history. Um, this is important. That what and have this is where having a African American in this position of Tyler Perry or a Byron Allen, this is where that really could come into play and really
right.
change the game a little bit anyway.
And let me ask you, Stacey, like, you know, how sometimes we beg for spaces, right? We beg for our bodies to be in certain spaces, but once we get in there, right? Once we get there, we don't do what is necessary for us. We don't do exactly what David Youngblood said, right? And I love that he said that, because there are oftentimes we think that just because we're in that position, that's what we're going to get, and we don't get it, right? So I really do hope as well that, like I said, as long there was a one point in time where Tyler Perry was like, and Greer, I'm sorry, I don't have the link to it, but he was like, "Oh, I'm the writer, the producer, the director," and people were like, "That's the problem. You need a team." You know, it can't be just all your thoughts, all your creativity. Which, don't get me wrong, I mean, he's a brilliant man. I mean, look at him. He took himself from
Well, the
homeless
thing
to
is,
billionaire.
in that instance, it's worked for him though, right?
And well, in that instance, but then the reason why, again, the reason why he said that was because people were like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's going on?" And, well, I'm to this, I'm to this, I'm to that, and then everyone's like, "Well, that's the problem." Like, yes, it got you there, but what's gonna help you to continue, right? What's best for the group? So maybe that was best for him to get him to where he needed to be, but what's best for the culture in its entirety, right?
Well, Randy, I wish just for a moment we hit the playback button on this, on what you're saying now, and juxtapose it to what you said when I said the exact same thing about that dreadlocked friend of yours,
Ugh.
Jay-Z. Exactly the same thing that I was saying. Now you applying it to Tyler Perry. So apply it appropriately, please.
Now you see, I came on Friday Junior on Let It Be Known, okay, with
Somebody said
Stacey Brown.
somebody said yesterday or the day before yesterday they called it "Let It Be Heard." But go ahead.
Right.
But go ahead.
Who said that? Give him credit. I want it on the shirt.
No,
I
I think
want
it
it
was
on the shirt.
Rashonda
Let
who
it be
said it.
heard.
I think it was Rashonda. Rashonda, y'all people out in Houston, y'all do stuff different. But nonetheless,
Yes, because
uh,
I'm not
that
gonna
that
discuss Jay on
same
this glorious
energy I
day.
need Jay-Z. I need that same energy when when we talk about how there's no where's the black folks at title? Why is these
We're
why
talking
are
about
these
doing something
Asians
for the culture. We're
why is
not talking
Asians
about.
working for $2 a day manufacturing his stuff for him and Beyonce, right?
You don't have any facts on that. I want to see
Oh
the paperwork.
my gosh, are you kidding me? That was a big expose on 60 Minutes and
He didn't know
elsewhere.
it. He did not know that.
He was right there standing next to those Asians.
He didn't know. He didn't know how much they were getting paid. He has a team.
Oh, he does?
He has a team.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whose responsibility? Where does the buck stop?
Marcy Projects.
Where does the buck stop? Mm-hmm.
We are not getting on Hove today. Hove has done amazing work for the culture. Thank
Right.
you
And
for your
Tyler Perry
contribution.
hasn't?
No, Tyler Perry has for
Okay.
sure.
All
You know,
right.
Tyler Perry has. He's put a lot of people on. I would never. I don't take anything from Tyler Perry. Like Tyler Perry definitely have put a lot of people on. The flowers that he's given our people has been just phenomenal. I don't have any beef with Tyler Perry. I just want him
He
to know
stepped in
that he
after Will
doesn't have to
Smith
do it alone.
slapped Chris Rock, didn't he?
Right, right, right,
He did something for the culture then, right?
right, right.
Nonetheless, no.
A mess.
Just to bring it back full circle, it would be really refreshing if once the sale goes through, as David Youngblood put it, that all of these things come to fruition on
Yes.
BET and even VH1, because it would be wholly black owned and
Big opportunity.
yeah, it would
Big opportunity.
yeah, it is a great, and it sounds as if and I don't know Tyler Perry, but it sounds as if he recognizes all that. It sounds like that's part of what's driving
Right.
him. Other than the fact again that the only program on BET, if you watch BET, pretty much what 90% of the program is Tyler Perry stuff.
Yeah. Or like, Baby Boy, like reruns of those kind of,
Yeah.
movies and shows and things of that
Well, maybe
nature. But
and also,
yeah.
like you said, reruns. Maybe to give an opportunity to for we talked about the talent in music that don't get that opportunity that boost up. Well, maybe it's a lot of talented
Right.
actors and actresses. Maybe they can create something, a space for them. Those who
Right,
don't get
right.
that
Oh,
break.
I said the same thing. The personalities, journalists, programming, right? Like think about it for a second. Morning shows, that talks about headlines. Maybe we could have Let It Be Known on BET running every
They gotta
morning.
be
You never know.
they gotta be Bob Johnson black for us to do that. Let me tell you what, right now.
Right,
So
right.
anyway,
Uh,
Bob Lee, the former chief of technology officer of Square, who helped launch Cash App, has died after a stabbing in San Francisco on the streets. This is really a shocking story in itself. Um, he was. It doesn't really. We don't really know all of the circumstances surrounding the stabbing death of him. There's been many statements made about who he was, um, and there's no. We've not been told a motive or anything of that nature. But it's just shocking that this mogul would be stabbed to death. And I keep
right,
that's no pun intended when I say Streets of San Francisco. I happen to have liked that show, The Streets of San Francisco, but it's really something else. I think people want to understand too that how does this because if you have Cash App, they also if you go on your Cash App, they also talk about Bitcoin. They want you to do this Bitcoin stuff. He was at the forefront of that. He's the one who did all that with Cash App and wanted people to do more with the Bitcoin, and you can actually change some of your money into Bitcoins and things of that nature. Um, but you worry, okay, so what happens now with Cash App?
So before we get into Cash App, Stacy, because a lot of think pieces came out when this news, unfortunate news. I mean, he was 43 years old. That's very, very young.
Mm-hmm.
When this news came out, there were a lot of people that, especially on Twitter, there's Black Twitter. They have they have their thoughts, right, and their think pieces. But honestly, one of them were absolutely right. But I didn't get the name of where, who it came from. But they sent a link out, and the link was to a January 9th article that said 5 crypto billionaires and millionaires died in the final weeks of 2022. Now, here's the reason why this was big. None of the deaths were overtly violent, right? But one of the crypto billionaires tweeted that he was the target of assassins just hours before he was found dead of an apparent drowning. Okay, why is that? Why is that big? We don't have any information around Bob Lee being
Right.
fatally stabbed. Yeah, people, there's people talking or whatever, but is there something going on? That was the question that people had. Is there something going on? Is there a war going on? Anything like that? But again, like Greer said, those are conspiracies, right? We don't know because we don't have the information. But I am looking, Cash App, I think he was the chief product officer at the time of Cash App. So I don't
Okay.
know who the chief operating officer is, but he was the chief product officer, Bob Lee. So I'm pretty sure that Cash App is going to continue to Cash App, right? But I want to see what investigators, if FBI has come out, like not
Yeah,
around
it's
the
interesting.
conspiracies that people have, but around like, is there something going on? Like I have no idea. I'm waiting to see or get updates on why he was fatally stabbed. What was going on. I'm waiting to get those updates.
Yeah, our viewers might be saying, "Well, why are we talking about this white man? This is the black press." Well, we all use Cash App.
Well, not even just that, but like, let's just be honest. Yes, this is the black press, but billionaires and millionaires kind of run, the biggest color in America is green. So
Yeah.
and Cash App is green, right? But and it's news, and it's big news but at that. So when you have
Well,
banks
that's
that
just it
fold,
too,
like
right?
these.
So let me stop you there. And Greer put it in capital letters this news, but that's just it too. Why isn't more being made of this? Because
Again, that's what I'm telling you, because I think that there probably is an investigation being done. I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah, I
cannot
get
deny.
that, but the fact that this, like you said, and then what you brought out was interesting about those billionaire
Mhm.
Bitcoin people, whatever, and now this, and yet it's still kind of it's not this is not and maybe because of the whole Trump situation, what's been going on this week with him, this has not risen to headline news. It should
Right,
be. It is.
right.
It's
Well,
worthy of it.
I mean, I totally agree. The banks folding in Silicon Valley. What bank was that folded? I know that I received an email because there's an app called Ride Alto that was banking with them,
Hmm.
and Ride Alto is almost, it's like an Uber. Okay, I don't know if Ride Alto is everywhere, but in Houston, it's a luxury Uber, right? And I've done some partnering with them before as an influencer, but they literally sent out an email because they were banking with the bank that folded in Silicon Valley. And so again, I'm with you, Stacey. The news has not been there. There has not been a big light shined on this. And like I
Hmm.
said, I don't know why. And that kind of make the conspiracies look kind of real, right? That's why people are coming up with all these conspiracies, is because, hey, y'all are not talking about it. So, Twitter's going to do their investigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so interesting. Look, I have to say too, I didn't. I hadn't planned on bringing it up either, but Greer with the eagle eye, she's like, no, this is important. It's news.
Yeah.
And so there we are. Power 96 is again doing Power 96 things. He said, check the wife, the baby mama, and see how much his insurance policy is worth. And he also said, you got to see where OJ Simpson was. He is known to carve up white meat with a knife.
That is a top tier comment.
This guy.
That
Said,
is top tier. I wouldn't even give him because we have Murdoch. Okay, we could say we need to see where he went. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's hilarious. But no, I'm with you on that, Stacey. Like I
Well,
think there
look,
should be a
so
more
Denise,
light shined upon this.
Denise Roloff Barnes, the publisher of the Washington Informant, says it is being reported this morning on every network. But you got to understand this happened a couple of days ago. She says Elon Musk said when these incidents occur, the perpetrators are usually immediately released. So I have not heard that they brought in any suspects though.
Right.
But Elon Musk will say just about anything.
Yeah. Who's really paying attention to Elon? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But no, I really
Elon
want to
wants
see.
your
I
he
just have
wants
my
your
eyes peeled.
Elon wants your $1,000 a month for the Blue Check
For
app.
you to keep your blue check. He is stripping away your celebrity, Stacey. Don't let him
He
do
stripping
that.
away my celebrity. I'm going the way of everybody else. Like you're not getting my money.
Stacey said, "Google me, baby. I don't need a blue check."
I don't need you to Google me either. I don't need that. We're
Right,
good. We are good. You're not getting
right.
my Elon Musk. Just think about all those folks, and I don't want this to dive into, go too deep into this anymore. But think about all those folks. Over $8 million. People gave Donald Trump over the last few days, and Elon Musk is getting money from. He wants $1,000 a month from companies to be verified on Twitter. You guys are, well, Trump is not a billionaire, but his stuff has been faked for forever. But Elon is a billionaire. Why am I giving you money?
Right.
I'm not doing that. You made a bad investment. $44 billion you paid for the platform nobody else wanted. You bid it against yourself. You tried to get out of it. Tried desperately to get out of it, and the court said, "No, you can't get out of it, Elon. You stuck. Pay the
Get your
44
bed, lay
billion,
in it.
right?" So you're not getting, and folks, hey, if you choose to give him your money, that's your choice.
I
I
mean,
don't believe in
a lot
giving
of people
billionaires
are
money.
right. There are a lot of people are paying for Twitter Blue. A lot of people because
Oh, I know.
they're saying that there are some things that and I think I've mentioned this before, maybe on Twitter, but there are some things that you can get on Twitter Blue, like the edit button. You can get the edit button. You can post longer videos. So there are some people paying for Twitter Blue for
I
that
heard
reason. I
somebody
think.
else mention that edit button. I could care less. It is
Well,
what it
well,
is.
well, well.
Don Lemon probably needs the edit button.
That's because you're probably not saying things on Twitter that people can go back and verify and check and things of that sort. So,
Well, I
or
probably
even
have
if
said things I shouldn't have said.
yeah,
There's no question I've done something crazy. I mean, but the question that whether or not I've done something crazy, that makes you crazy.
right.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, but Stacy is like, I stand on mine. I don't want to go back and edit it. I was thinking more so, Stacy, not of the petty people, right? But I was thinking more so of like the journalists, these outlets that are being ran by a social media manager. They're rushing and they make a common mistake with like maybe a typo or something like that, right? And then they're like, no, you have to fix that. So I get that. I mean, there was one time I tagged. Because I do digital marketing as well. So there's one time I tagged somebody that wasn't it wasn't that person. So let's just say I tagged Will Smith, but it wasn't Will Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to literally, but the tweet had already had like 50 retweets, and I was like, oh, I gotta delete this and do it over. So
Just because you
if
tagged the wrong person,
just because I tagged the wrong person.
that just means that you got an extra eye. That's how. Look, I tag people every day for this show who have no idea. I tag them every single day. Hey, watch. Tell me if you like it. I don't care who you are. You
I
probably
love it.
gotten some sort of tweet from me or a share on Facebook. People, look, do with it whatever you may do.
I love it. Can we
It's nothing
laugh?
coming.
Not to come back. I want to come back really quickly to Bob Lee. Can we laugh a little bit when people say
How you
what's going
laughing?
to
Somebody
happen
been
to
stabbed to death.
what when not laugh at that? That was really crazy. I know. No, I know. Not laugh
All
at
right,
him. But
OJ.
I was saying laugh at people when people say what's going to happen to Cash App. I'm like, how you think it's being ran, you guys? This is not your mom
Well,
and pop.
no, but wait. You and you're right. You're right. However, with banks crashing and everything, look, I get a little afraid of stuff nowadays. I'm like, I think it was Power 96 that under the mattress. Look, you know, that's a legitimate. I think it's a legitimate a concern. What you're saying is right, but I think it's a legitimate concern nowadays. Right? You can't trust the banks. You can't. And there's been stuff about Cash App and even Zelle that they say you better put a pause on that too. And now you get the guy who founded the app stabbed. You know, like Power 96 says, it's probably something personal.
Yeah.
Stabbing is usually a personal crime.
Because it's not, people, I don't know if it's the movies that they watch or the video games that they play, but it's not easy to stab somebody to death, So stabbing someone is very, very personal.
Yeah,
it is very personal. And if you've ever tried to take a knife, it could be a really good knife to just cut meat with. That it's very hard. So you got to be in a different mental space to stab someone.
Well,
and to continue doing it until they die. That's the point. That's the problem. Because you could spaz out, right? We have people who snap is a thing for real, right? You can spaz out and snap and shoot someone, or even stab them once. But to continue doing it until someone dies,
it appears that ChatGPT is smart enough to recognize that artificial intelligence poses a threat to workers' livelihood. Global outplacement and executive coaching firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas recently asked the AI tool developed by research firm OpenAI in plain English how many workers it expects to replace. The answer: 4.8 million American jobs. And here's the thing, and now I see that Denise is watching, and I'm going to say something here, which it was so interesting to me at the NMPA's conference back in Puerto Rico when Lafayette, who publishes Denise's Bridge, said that he did a whole publication using I guess ChatGPT or AI.
AI. I got you,
Lafayette. But here's the thing with that. I was not particularly fond of that moment because all I saw is what we're talking about now. I saw when he showed that newspaper, and it's great for publishers if that's the route they want to go because it saves a lot of money. But what I saw was journalists and photographers losing jobs. What I saw were editors losing jobs. That's all I could see. And here's the thing with ChatGPT and these other things. It's still, you can't do, they still will never be able to do certain things that a seasoned journalist can do.
Right.
It will save publishers money. But you know what? It's not the way to go. It is. And people say, well, you're a journalist. Of course you're going to say that. So, American journalism has sunk to the lowest of the low over the past 10 plus years already. I mean, journalism is nothing. Like when let me say this. When I was in first grade, going way back, right? My teacher, Mrs. Ribna, nicknamed me Mr. Media because at 6 years old, I wanted to be a journalist. At 6 years old.
Oh wow!
And being in New York, you have like 100 daily newspapers, and I used to bring all these daily newspapers every day to school, right? And when the kids were eating lunch, I'd have me a little whatever sandwich here, but I have the newspaper. When we had gym, after we did our little sprints, I went to grab my newspaper. Every morning, Miss Ribner would have me read the current events from the newspaper to the class. Mm-hmm. We had journalistic giants like Max Robinson and my man Randall Pinkston. Many people, if you're from New York, you know Randall Pinkston. I remember him coming to my school, and I was the most excited kid in the entire school. This journalist coming to my school. I used to write to the journalist at the New York Daily News and the New York Times. And then later on got to freelance. And probably people say don't be too proud of this, but freelance for the New York Post, right? These are because I used to deliver the New York Post when I was a kid. And Walter Cronkite and all those guys, the standard for journalism, right?
Right.
And when I got into the business, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get into a newsroom. And I tell you what, I was the first one in and the last one to leave. I loved being in that newsroom and seeing all the things happen. Journalism since then has just gone down, down, down. And I know this is not just ChatGPT. It's just not about journalism, but the fact is, this is a personal thing for me, because when Lafayette showed that newspaper and said it was all generated by AI,
he said the cover.
No, he said the entire issue.
I have to go back and watch that.
Well, Denise is on now. Denise, remind us. It was the entire issue, including photos. That did not sit well, and it still doesn't sit well with me.
Well, it's almost as if ChatGPT is almost as if like it's the new
Denise said it was a cover.
No, it's the new call center, right? You remember when call centers used to be here in America, and then they all went overseas, right? Technology is useful. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It helps us out. We know that, right? What's understood doesn't need to be explained. However, technology fails us the same way humans fail us, right? And unfortunately, Stacey, when you couple recession and inflation and just the environment that we're in, people are going to choose themselves, and they're going to choose saving money over anything else. That's what we saw when the whole outsourcing boom happened. It's what we're going to see when people start putting this into play. So what are some of the jobs, Stacey, that they say ChatGPT is going to replace?
That's a good question, because thankfully they don't say journalists. But they do talk about customer service representatives, and we know that industry's been ravished anyway, right? Tech writers, translators, interpreters, copywriters, data entry clerks, and then it says ChatGPT sees itself as most capable of entering include the fields that they see themselves. It sees itself most capable of entering are data science, computer science, mathematics, and things of that nature, automation, business.
That data science, any type of data replacement, that's where it's going to get a little bit scary to me. Mm-hmm. To me.
Well, and here's the other big issue too. And Denise says, just briefly going back to the journalism part of it, Denise says another issue is copyright infringement, because AI will use journalists' work to produce its content. The question is, who do you sue? ChatGPT, ChatGPT. I didn't even know about ChatGPT. In fact, it was Denise who I think first mentioned ChatGPT to me, and I that stuff I just don't know nothing. I don't really.
Well, when it comes to writing, and that's a good statement that she made. Hi, Denise. I recently met her. Absolutely love her. When it comes to writing,
how do you love her?
Because she was amazing. Gave me first impression is always a great impression. If you leave a great impression on me, that first impression is great. And don't try to.
I have known Denise now for 10 years. She's put up with me for 10 years. 10. That's what the song says, right? 10 long years.
10 years a slave with you, Stacey. No.
Denise, you heard that? You've enslaved me for 10 years?
No.
Oh, snap.
Look how journalists will turn your words around. See, that's why Hope don't come on Let It Be Known, because you're gonna flip his words into something else.
I wouldn't flip his words. He can bury himself with his own words. He does a
Back
good
to
job
Chat
of that.
GPT. Chat GPT is going to bury your words. Okay.
Well,
No.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, Randy. Um, Black unemployment is so high, right?
Absolutely.
Who do you think
Of
will
course.
will get the short end of the stick here with these 5 million jobs?
Of course, of course, it's going to be black people. But here's the thing: it's going to be black people because of the decision makers, right? So this is where it's going to fall on, like you said, if this hits the black press, it is going to be up to the publishers to say, "Hey, we can leverage Chat GPT almost like like a reference sheet." Like if there are some things you want to pull, like, hey, Chat GPT, give me the background of the Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case. Give me the background of Trump's
But see,
case.
here's the thing. Wait, I'm gonna let you finish. But here's the thing with that: a good journalist would have already had that. See, one of the things I like about I was talking with Greer about politics and stuff like that. I don't get involved personally in politics, but one of the things I like about covering elections is that going into election night, for instance, you got the B matter already written. You got the background done, right?
Right.
It's just waiting for what happens, right? And filling in the blanks. So you already you don't need a robot for that. You don't need a machine for that, right?
So hear me out. Let me ask you a question. Now that's you're right about that part. But when you have breaking news like Bob Lee, right? Some people don't want to go to the archives and like, oh, did we have anything about him?
That's lazy
It
journalism.
is. And I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Mhm.
It is lazy journalism, but there's a caveat, Stacey. There's a caveat to that. And let me tell you why. The way that we consume information in such a fast pace now, when a lot of the and don't get me wrong, I want everybody to read. But when a lot of the news come out, when it's breaking news, by the time we put it in a paper or up on a website for somebody to read the next week, everybody has already
Well, see,
gotten that
that's why
information.
our publishers have come to their senses over the past several years, especially since the pandemic. And they, especially, so Denise is on the Washington Informer. It's like reading the Washington Post. It's updated constantly. Misha is
And the Houston Forward Times. Let
and
me
the
drop
forward
that.
right updated constantly. News is fresh, and this idea of so here's part of the problem too, Denisha, Randy, that the part of the problem too is that this rush to be first, right?
Yes.
People, readers don't care who's first. They
Right.
don't. They want to read something meaningful. They want to read something that has substance. They want to read something that's accurate.
Accurate.
And the thing about it is also we know as journalists in this fast-paced environment that we got to be on our toes. And I think what this does is presents an opportunity to let the cream rise to the top. And I'm up for the challenge. I think I've been up to the challenge and will continue to do my best to stay up to the challenge. When something
Absolutely.
happens, anybody I've ever written for will tell you it's bang. I'm getting it to you right away.
Greer says the public is not reading long form anymore. This is
No,
a
they're not.
headline
They're
generation.
they're, they're not.
Agreed.
It depends. It
Agreed.
depends on that. Now there's a, as you said, a caveat to that. The caveat is it depends on the story. They're not breaking news stuff like that. They want the information, like you said, bang, bang, bang. Now there are some things that call for long form journalists. Ask Barrington Salmon. Everything is long form for Barrington, but
And
they,
you know, and you get one perspective if you use Chat GPT for all of your work, which is the thing is, will it replace some jobs? Will it replace some jobs even in our industry? Yes, it
of
will.
course,
Okay.
of course,
But if we keep, you can diversify with technology.
hmm
Okay, you can diversify, you can bring it in, right? But if we keep our writers and we keep those people, we get the vantage points of them telling stories, right? You don't get that with technology. It's just one line, and unfortunately, some people have to see that. They have to see that it's just a straight line, and it has to happen first before people say, "Oh, well, we made a mistake. Let's back it up and call an audible."
yeah. Well, David says, I'm okay with you not being first. I want to read something and leave it knowing a little more about the story. And I wish more journalists today would start thinking that way. Everybody's rushing, and even like the New York Times, places where you didn't see as many corrections, you see corrections constantly. That should be enough. Back in the day, that old expression back, that was unacceptable. That was totally unacceptable. You
Agreed.
cannot keep going back correcting.
It says
So
updated. It says updated. You see, when you go to the articles, it has updated right
updated.
there because
Yeah.
the
I
sources,
see a lot of AP stuff, and AP is the one who sends you all these things about formatting and this, not formatting, but what do you call it? They tell
the
you about the
style of
grammar
right.
style. Yeah, AP style, and they make so many, like you said, updates,
Right.
correction. An earlier version of the story misstated this or that, constantly.
Constantly.
So the bottom line, Black press matters more now than ever. And we as Black journalists, our publishers, look, our publishers have been holding it down for 196 years, right? They have been the papers have been passed down to their sons and daughters, right? To take over, to their grandchildren to take over. And the bottom line is we have a serious responsibility. We have a major responsibility.
We do.
Why are you shaking your head?
Because we are, I was waiting on it too. I was like, okay. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I say diversify with Chat GPT. Don't
She
let it
said
replace your
violins.
writers. You need your writers to tell the story in their different vantage points. Because
Yeah.
the world has their own vantage point, and so it's very important to keep our writers not to have it on one flat line where technology is just creating everything.
Yeah.
Diversify with technology.
There you go. Well, we know what's going to happen with this AI stuff, and as they said, almost 5 million jobs, 4.8 million jobs. Um, you know what?
Greer
Black
has
people
been
get on my
cracking up.
nerves at times too.
She needs to be right here. We need to bring her on because
Nonetheless, y'all, that's the story. As who was it that said, and that's the story. Come on, Denise, you should have sent me that. What's that guy's name? But nonetheless, we're signing off now. See you.
was that wait, I'm thinking Mr. Rogers.
No, he wasn't. Oh my goodness. Uh, Listen, Power 96 said he just learned how to work Zoom. So there you, there you go. And we will leave it there today. We got a big show coming up tomorrow. Stay tuned for Kale. Paul Harvey. That's it. Paul Harvey. Thank you, Power 96. Who is Kale,
Power
Denise?
96, thank you, but I'm dying that you just now learning how to work Zoom.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to me. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Join us tomorrow. We got an entertainment theme show tomorrow. It's a very big show. We will have more for you later. Thanks for watching.